get nuts? Let's get nuts.
From the original film. Anybody remember that?
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
That line in this trailer makes me so excited. Something else we should talk about because it's probably about to hit. The writers of all of your favorite TV shows and movies are about to go on strike. You might not really notice this strike when it happens. You might have no clue, but you should. You should know that it's happening. That's why I wanted to bring it up. The things that they are fighting for, in my opinion, are very important, and I hope that it pans out. The one place you will notice it right away is late night television, because all of their writers are going on strike, and because they produce live shows daily, weekly, whatever, those will just shut down. Those will not be happening. So if you're a big SNL fan, sorry. There's a hot chance that you're going to be watching a lot of reruns for a couple of months. Same goes for Kimmel, Fallon. A lot of writers really went hard at getting scripts done before this strike happened to have production be able to continue. Because the big thing is that these writers don't want to take jobs away from everybody. But yeah, writers out there just doing the heckin' thing, trying to get their fair pay. Honestly, I hope that it ends up with two big outcomes. One, that everybody gets paid what they deserve to get paid. And two, as a result, maybe we do have less content. I would be fine with that. So we'll see. I don't know. I just wanted to bring it up because I think it's important to know about. I really think you'll start hearing a lot more about it next week. Some people have said it's not a complete guarantee. I'm sure they are in rooms right now trying to work out the deal to make it so it doesn't happen. I don't know. There's a lot to negotiate there. Now, to kind of flip the tables and celebrate these studios. This week was also CinemaCon, which is a showcase from the studios to movie theater chains for their slates of everything that's going to be coming up. And a lot of stuff got announced. A lot of stuff that we already know about just got shown off a little bit. A lot of footage was shown that isn't out there. Some new trailers dropped. I have 50 films. I counted right before stream. I have 50 films to mention. I would say maybe a third of them I'm excited about. First one up was Sony. One of the films that they talked about that I'm probably the most excited about from Sony is called Dumb Money. Dumb Money follows the Wall Street chaos after GameStop's stock skyrocketed due to Reddit. Starring Seth Rogen, also starring Paul Dano. Vincent D'Onofrio is in this, Sebastian Stan is in this, Clancy Brown is in this, Shailene Woodley's in this, America Ferrera is in this. A lot of people are in this. Pete Davidson is in this. I think Paul Dano plays the lead, who is a YouTuber that put all of his money in on GameStop and got rich. And it's based off the true story. But this comes out October 20th, so later this year. I think that kind of slates it to be an attempt at Oscars. Not sure if that'll actually happen. Also from Sony is another Insidious movie called Insidious Red Door that comes out July 7th. The new Spider-Verse movie coming out June 2nd. Kraven the Hunter, part of the Spider-Verse Sony cinematic Spidey-verse thing that they're doing. He's another one of the villains that they're making a film. And that's actually going to be an R-rated movie. I read about some of the description of the footage, and there's a scene where Kraven the Hunter bites someone's nose off. So that movie is going to be wild. I hope it doesn't fall down the sort of rabbit hole of Morbius, but Kraven the Hunter is actually played by Aaron Taylor Johnson, who I admittedly just love. And that's coming out October 6th, sorry. Sony's also promoting the Napoleon movie starring Joaquin Phoenix. Napoleon starring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Ridley Scott. Yeah, just a straight up story of Napoleon. And I think Joaquin Phoenix is perfect for this. The other thing that they promoted that is relevant to the channel is the new Gran Turismo movie that's coming out. I'm still sort of surprised at what this movie is about. Number one, yes, there is a Gran Turismo movie coming out. It comes out on October 1st, but it's actually based on a true story, apparently. I don't know if you can even call this a video game adaptation. Based on the true story of Jan Mardenborough, the film is the ultimate wish fulfillment tale of a teenage Gran Turismo player whose gaming skills won a series of Nissan competitions to become an actual professional race car driver. So can you call that a video game adaptation? I'm not sure. Sony is going hard on turning all of their largest properties into film and television, starting with The Last of Us. God of War is coming, Gran Turismo is happening, Death Stranding is happening. So that was Sony's whole presentation. They did fine. They're doing a whole bunch of the stuff that we know they've been doing. It's just a whole bunch of Spider-Man stuff and Sony PlayStation stuff. After Sony was good old Warner Brothers, who have a lot of big things coming. They showed footage of Dune 2 that is coming out November 3rd this year. People are speaking highly of it. It picks up exactly where the first one left off, so that should be cool. That'll be a big event. Barbie, which we've talked about on the channel already, and I'm very, very excited for. Some new footage was shown for that. That comes out July 21st. Another one that they promoted was the new Wonka film, which is coming out in December with Timothée Chalamet. That is a prequel to the Willy Wonka story. I don't know. We'll see. I got to see some footage from it. I got to see a trailer. It's apparently about Willy Wonka on some crazy adventures and like when he met the Oompa Loompas. I've never really cared about Willy Wonka. The original is obviously a classic. The remake with Johnny Depp, I think, was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Warner Brothers also showed off footage for Blue Beetle, new DC movie that's coming. The trailer's out there. I'm not that excited about it. September 8th, we will be getting The Nun 2. Never saw the first one. I can't tell what's going on with the lighting in my room. The Aquaman 2 coming out December 20th. They showed footage for that. Again, I don't know. I think Aquaman 2 is supposed to lean a little bit more into the Thor approach, that it will be a little bit more comedy. I never saw the first one, so I probably won't go out to see the second one. WB mentioned in development right now is Final Destination 6. Cool. That could be something. I can't remember the last one that I watched, but I think back to the first one fondly. Not in a way that I think that was a good movie, but in a way that I think, damn, that was just fun. Like, what a great idea. And the one that I am actually excited about is Beetlejuice 2. Michael Keaton's having his moment right now. I think it'll be good. I don't know who's writing it, but I trust that in the right hands, it can be done well. Warner Brothers ended by showing The Flash. I read some reviews that were like, very, very strong moments, but some places it gets a little lost because it's doing a lot. But I still continue to hear a lot of people say that The Flash is quite possibly one of the best superhero movies in years, which is not saying a whole lot, I think. But coupling that with the trailers that have been dropping, I think they could be right. This might be one that I actually am very excited to see. So this is the second trailer that came out for The Flash, and it's hot.
I lost my parents. That pain.
We're going to do a little bit of the stopping and pausing stuff. What's going on in this image? Whose hand is this? Why is it got like paint on it or something? We're hearing Michael Keaton's voice, but why does his hand look like that? Like, this is Michael Keaton talking with Batman telling his story. Is that his hand? Are we sure? What is this? Just saying. I don't know. Just saying, though.
That pain. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
From the original film? Anybody remember that?
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
That line in this trailer makes me so excited. It's rad. It looks rad. I'm excited. Like I said, I think it's like going to be very big. Going to have like a lot of very big moments that are all probably really fun and kind of impressive. I think there will be a lot of really cool cameos. This is going to be a great movie to see in theaters and have the whole crowd reaction element sort of happening. One of the big critiques that's coming out of this that I completely understand that I could see happening is that it could get kind of lost in all of that, you know? Like it could get like a little too muddled because of how much they're doing. So that's Sony, Warner Brothers. Next up was Disney. They promoted Haunted Mansion, which comes out July 28th. I think there's already a trailer for that. It's got a huge cast. I'm sure I will miss it. Same goes for Little Mermaid. Two movies that are gonna make a lot of money, but that I personally just don't have interest in. One that I do have interest in, coming out June 30th, is the new Indiana Jones movie. They showed more footage of that. Some of the description of the footage that they shown, like an action sequence that people said was real good. So that's exciting. Better bring back Mutt. Who's Mutt? That's not Shia LaBeouf, is it? His son? Or whatever role he played. Shia was Mutt, yeah. He's not in it. I can already guarantee you, I think I've heard, I forget where I heard, but yeah, that's been confirmed. He's not in this movie. In this movie, though, is Phoebe Waller-Bridge, who I think plays his niece, and I'm much more on board with that. Directed by James Mangold, who is incredible, has done a whole bunch of different stuff. Ford vs. Ferrari kind of recently, and he also did Logan, 310 a Yuma, Walk the Line, Girl Interrupted. Very notable director, and a great person to put this franchise in the hands of. One of the cool things that happens at CinemaCon a lot of the time, sometimes the studio will just be like, by the way, this movie's coming and it's almost done and you've never heard about it. But a movie is coming out called The Creator. It's directed by Gareth Edwards. He directed a movie called Monsters, which is essentially a love story set within like the confines of immigration. And the background, like the setting, is that a monster like invasion is happening. And that's what was kind of fun about it. I love when you take a genre and you just mess with it a bunch. And he's really good at doing that, which I thought that he did really well with the first Godzilla film too. A lot of people hated the fact that that whole movie, you don't really see Godzilla until the end, but that's how a monster movie works. Let's talk about the most successful monster movie of all time. It's called Jaws. When do you see this shark? Once, at the very end. So The Creator is a new movie that Gareth Edwards is doing. A lot of people saw this and were like, whoa, hell yeah. Oh, he also did Rogue One. I forgot about that. So maybe more notably than the Godzilla movie is Rogue One, because crushed it on that as well. It's set in a distant future after a catastrophic and apocalyptic war between humans and artificial intelligence. It sounds wild. Should be cool. It comes up September 29th. Kind of wild, right? Like they haven't released anything about that movie. And then at this convention, we're just like, this is happening. And people are like, oh, that could be one of the best movies of the year. And then Disney, of course, promoted Guardians. That comes out next weekend, I think, May 5th. And they also did some more promotion for Marvels. That comes out November 10th. And they have a new horror movie coming out called The Boogeyman, which is based off of a Stephen King book. And that comes out June 2nd. There's a trailer for that as well. But it's another one that I kind of watched and thought, not totally for me. Big budget Hollywood blockbuster horror films usually are just not my jam. I didn't really like the It series at all for that reason. Fox Searchlight, who's connected to Disney, released a trailer for the new Taika Waititi movie that's coming out November 17th called Next Goal Wins. I've been following this movie since it got announced to be in development, and this movie looks genuinely enjoyable.
Soccer, as you like to call it, is like life. Next season, I think we have a real shot.
I'm sorry, Thomas, did nobody tell you? You're fired. Good news is, you got two options.
A lot of the Taika
Option one, that's where you're
comedy in this.
Or
We haven't scored one goal in the history of our country trying to have a soccer team. That's a new coach.
Director Taika Waititi, who lost the Best Picture Academy Award and also lost the Teen Choice Award for Thor Ragnarok.
Whiskey, beer, wine?
Yep, we got all those. Which one?
Whiskey, beer, and wine.
And I think like it kind of gives you a lot of vibes of Ted Lasso, right? Immediately probably makes you think of Ted Lasso. I think the difference is that Ted Lasso is all about making a good team. This movie, I'm pretty sure the premise is to score a goal. They don't even want to win. They just need to score a single goal. So that's the biggest one from the Disney presentation that I liked. After Disney, Universal, along with Focus Features, is a part of Universal, and then also a part of Universal, Blumhouse. So one of the big ones that got announced that I am really, really iffy on. I do not know how to feel about this, and I will not know how to feel about this probably until it comes out. Even when there's a trailer, I'm going to be on it, Blumhouse, along with David Gordon Green, who did the Halloween trilogy, the new one, is starting a trilogy reboot of The Exorcist. New one will be coming out called The Exorcist Believer on October 13th. Original cast members are in it, which is good. Doesn't guarantee anything though. People are saying that it looks good. They showed footage at the CinemaCon event. People are saying that it is very scary. A lot of the stuff that made the original Exorcist a very frightening film exists there. I just don't know. The Exorcist is probably one of my top favorite horror films of all time. Like it's up there with The Shining for me. I don't know if you can really reboot that and do it justice. So like I said, I'm going to end up seeing it, but I don't know. I will not know how to feel about it until it happens. That comes out October 13th though. It's coming. So we should get a trailer for that sometime soon here. They showed some more footage of Oppenheimer, and Christopher Nolan was there to talk about it. Nolan is really kind of hit or miss with me, and I'm really kind of iffy on this. People at the convention were saying, based on what they saw, that it could be his best film since Inception. I'd probably word that differently. Inception's not my favorite one of his films, But that is exciting, that if other people are stirring up around this film and saying like, okay, my dude might be onto something here, that's exciting. That comes out July 21st, notably at the same time as Barbie. They showed more footage of Asteroid City from Wes Anderson. That comes out June 16th. Real big promotion around Kung Fu Panda 4. Universal also, of course, promoted the new Fast movie, Fast 10 or Fast X or whatever that thing is called. Universal also announced stuff coming in the future that is in development. A movie that will be coming out next year, March 1st, 2024, called The Fall Guy, starring Ryan Gosling. It's directed by David Leitch. He got his start being a co-director, not actually credited, but was a co-director of the first John Wick movie. He then did Atomic Blonde and Deadpool 2, and then did Hobbs and Shaw, and he most recently did Bullet Train. David Leitch is also attached to a video game adaptation. It's a video game called My Friend Pedro. I've never played it, but it looks incredible, and I want to play that game soon. And also, I really want that movie soon. Another thing that Blumhouse announced during this is that there is development happening on a Black Phone 2. Did anybody see Black Phone? Because I didn't like it that much. And I don't know how it's going to get a sequel. But you do you, Blumhouse, you know? Next up, Paramount. So they announced August 4th, we're getting Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles new film. They also announced a new Transformers animated film that's going to be coming. It has a really stacked cast. I'm not even going to go through it, but like everybody that is anybody is in that Transformers animated film that's happening. They also hyped up a little bit more of Transformers Rise of the Beast that's coming out June 9th. We got a little bit of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning. I want to see that movie as big and loud as possible. Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning coming July 14th. I'm excited for it. It's going to be buck wild. I've seen some behind the scenes featurettes on crazy stunts that Tom Cruise is doing for it again. And they also showed off Killers of the Flower Moon. It is the new movie coming from Martin Scorsese. Leonardo DiCaprio's in it, Robert De Niro in it, Jesse Plemons in this movie, John Lithgow's in this movie, Brendan Fraser is in this movie. Apparently he showed up on screen in a trailer that they showed, and the whole room gave an audible hell yeah. I bet it's going to be long as hell. I'll watch it. I'll go on the ride. Paramount announced some cool stuff that's coming. A Quiet Place Day 1. That will be coming out March 8th, 2024. The second one wasn't that great, but I've enjoyed them enough. I like that world that they've established there, so I'm on board with a sort of prequel series for that. This one's fascinating to me. I don't know if it'll really be for me. It's just called If. So it's directed by Krasinski. It's going to be starring Ryan Reynolds, and it's going to be a heavy mixture of live action and animation. The whole premise is that it is about, I think a kid will be at the center of it, and they gain the ability to see all of the imaginary friends of kids that grew up, and their imaginary friends were just sort of left behind. One of the imaginary friends is going to be voiced by Steve Carell. It sounds like a really cool idea, but I don't know. It could end up being like one of those very feel-good sort of popcorn movies that isn't totally for me. That one comes out May 24th, 2024. They also announced Sonic 3 will be coming December 20th, 2024. Paramount also announced a new Smurfs movie. I think Rihanna did the announcement for that. So that's something. That comes out February 14th, 2025. Avatar: The Last Airbender animated film coming out in 2025 as well. And they talked a little bit more about Gladiator 2. It's Ridley Scott again, which is good. Starring Denzel Washington, Paul Mescal, Barry Keoghan, and Joseph Quinn, actually, from Stranger Things. Also announced a new SpongeBob movie, and then the one that they said was in development, but they don't really have anything on yet, is that they are actually talking about doing a sequel to last year's Smile. If y'all remember that horror movie that came out, Smile, that I was very, very excited about and ultimately very let down by. It is kind of built to have a sequel, so I get it. I don't know how well it did, though, so I don't really see why it needs a sequel. But last one, y'all. Last studio to kind of give a little presentation, and theirs was kind of short and sweet because they're a little smaller studio called Lionsgate. Lionsgate talked about Joyride, which comes out July 7th. This is like this year's big comedy blockbuster. They also are promoting a movie that comes out on June 16th called The Blackening. It's like a comedy horror. And then they also promoted, they might have shown footage of this, I don't know, for Saw 10. I think I liked Saw 1 and 2 and then immediately was like, I'm off. I'm out of here. I'm done. That's kind of it for Lionsgate. But then the big one that they were promoting all week leading up to it, I'm going to say it doesn't look bad. I don't really care about the Hunger Games. I think I saw the first one and then kind of fell off. But this one looks okay.
I'm Lucky Flickerman.
first ever
I like the
host
aesthetic of
the
it.
Hunger Games.
Kind of like old school look in this futuristic world. Hunter Schafer. Shout out Hunter Schafer. This just seems more interesting to me than the other
There's
Hunger
a
Games
natural goodness
movies.
built into us all.
I'm alright. I'm alright with it. That'll be one that I would wait and see how people are reacting to it. If it's getting a lot of hype, if people are saying it's incredible, you gotta see it, then I'll go see it. But I'm not gonna like go out of my way to see it first weekend or anything, you know? Looks like our prequel to Demolition Man. You just sold me on it. I changed my mind. I'm gonna go see it the first weekend. Hot take, but I think Demolition Man is incredible. Wesley Snipes in that movie is so good.